Hello, and thanks for joining me today. I've got something pretty cool to show you. I collect military, like I say, in almost every video, and one of the things I seem to have quite a bit of are steel helmets. Just something that I've always liked, and I remember back in the day picking these up for 98 cents a piece at the surplus store and playing Army all day outside with them and putting them up in the room after. So I've got quite a few of these. Actually, this is my first medic's helmet, and that's what makes this helmet very interesting. This is an original World War II period front seam M1 steel helmet. This is what they call the fixed bale variety. I'll explain that as soon as I get to the inside of this. This has some very interesting features of it here. This first thing you could notice, I don't know if it's the first thing you noticed, but the first thing I noticed when I saw it in the picture was it has this very large dent in it. Now, for those of you who don't know, that takes a whole lot of pressure to dent an M1 steel helmet. A simple hammer blow won't do it. So that was something pretty heavy that fell on it. The second is, let me pull this up a little closer. You could see on the top, there are 3 holes drilled. 1, 2, and 3 here in the back. And if you could look at the side here, kind of glazing off over the top, you could see that there was a washer there. And I have never seen a military helmet with that feature. The only thing I could think about is maybe at one time there was a camera mounted to the top. These would have been the old film cameras, like handhelds or something. The military had some compact ones. Were still large and bulky. I don't know if that's the case here. That's something I suppose I will never know unless I find a camera with the same mounting brackets as this helmet. But there's something that leads me to believe it was a camera, and I'll show you in just a moment. But you can look at the patina on this helmet. You can see the rust coming through the paint, the way that it's just, it seems just thick and aged, you know, when it's really a thin coat, maybe two coats, and these were hand painted. And just look at the way that it's coming through, the way that it's aged, the way that it's yellowed. Now, there are some very good people out there, very talented, that can recreate age like this. But this is the honest to goodness deal here. You can see the way it's come off because of the impact, and just the way it's set here, some of the paint. But that's just something that you need to learn how to keep an eye out for, because people do fake these helmets all the time. What I mean by fake is they could take a regular World War II helmet that would be worth, you know, maybe anywhere from $200 to $300, depending on condition. Take it, do a restoration on it, and then age it and get $500 to $600 for them. Now, these have gone up quite a bit in price since I was a kid, of course. You know, I used to pay $1.98, and even at the flea markets, no more than $5, $10 a piece. And I remember recently, well, I say recently, but it's been about 15 years, finding some fixed bale helmets at the flea market for $20 a piece. And that's, you know, that was, I thought, was high back then, but that was back then. You know, now you can't touch these for anything less than $100. And I got this for $50, and I had to travel about an hour to get it. It was in the next nearest town down in the flatlands there, and up from the mountains where I live. But if you look at this, and I didn't notice this because the person that took the pictures was some lady that lived on a farm, and she was just wanting money for her grow operation or something. And I believe she mentioned, but then again, see, you're going to see right here, this is a front seam helmet, which means this rim seal is right here in the front. Later World War II, up until the 80s, they were in the back of the helmets. So the good thing about these decorated helmets is it's painted helmets, identified, not really identified yet, but if we start moving it around, I didn't see any of these other marks. And I couldn't get my money out fast enough once I found them. But you can see right here, there's 2 tick marks on the side, here and here. And I'm not too sure what those were for yet, and I'm in the process of figuring it out. Um, normally, like the airborne during World War II would have a ace of spades or a diamond or a heart or even a square with what they call tick marks. So it'd either be a line, a circle, or something that would go around the insignia painted on the side. That would tell someone what the rank somebody was. They also had like the stripes on the back of the helmets as well. But when we get back to the back, and this was a complete surprise, and this is something that, of course, I didn't mind painting. It has rescue on the back. Now, we'll keep going around, and I'll get back to that in just a moment too. And it has the other tick marks on the side. Sorry, I got a glare coming through the windows. But this is an early helmet because you could tell this has a stainless steel rim. And if my memory serves correctly, these were very reflective when the paint came off like this. Even when they were brand new, the paint chipped off the rim. The paint wouldn't hold the stainless steel much. So I switched to manganese later on. But the stainless steel here, turn it over and let you look at the inside a little bit. It's in need of some conservation, not restoration. And you can see on the bottom here, you can see the distinctive seam. Sorry, it's not focusing. There, well. And then we'll just move on here. We got the bales here. This is what holds the helmet strap. This is fixed bale because it doesn't swivel. They had two types of fixed bale. Was this type and what was called a D bale, which is more expensive, and it's usually found on paratrooper helmets, where instead of this being the shape it is, the bale would be in the shape of a letter D. Kind of obvious nomenclature for the military. Up on top here, we can see a heat stamp. Kind of hard to see, but it's under these little paint bubbles here, the rust bubbles, the pitting. The heat stamp is like, will give you the clue. Oh yeah, and there's a seam. It's better. Let's see. My fingernail. Will focus on that. Okay. I don't know. Just camera's being strange. Helmet doesn't want to be on the video. But you can see the holes inside for that mount system. But inside here, the heat stamp, it's 420B. And that is dating it about January of 1943. Just a conservative estimate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look this up because I posted it after I bought it on several forums on Facebook. And there's supposed to be a collector's group of M1 helmets. And I just had a whole bunch of answers, and they were mostly wrong. I believe, and someone had a guess, and I go along with it. Because of the rescue on the back, I believe it's a Air Corps, maybe a ground crew type helmet for like fire rescue for the bombers when they would come in completely disabled or maybe crashing on takeoff and landing. It wouldn't be Navy because Navy always coated their helmets in the gray paint, battleship gray paint. And I mean, it could be a number of things. I mean, I'm getting into researching it now. This is going to take a very long time. Getting them dated, finding out their years and the manufacturer of them, and difference between the manganese and the stainless rims. That's all the easy stuff. That stuff that just takes you a couple minutes looking it up in a book or remembering it or looking on the internet real quick for the codes that are there for the different manufacturers. But the funny thing was this helmet is I've never had a medic's helmet, so I wasn't going to sell it. I'm not going to sell it. And I put it on a forum, and I had, I only paid $50 for it. I didn't say how much, I paid for it in the post. But I just put some basic pictures. I didn't really get into too much with it. And I had several messages, people, credible collectors, offer me $500 for it, up to $650 if I would sell it to them right now, and I just can't do that. When I find something like this, I keep it, and it'll be up to my kids to decide what to do with it someday. But it's a nice helmet. Like I said, the person I got it from, she gave me a person's name, but she couldn't remember his first name. She gave me a guess on the first name, but so I couldn't really look up anything. But she told me that he had some medals and things, and it was her family friend, and she didn't know if she wanted to sell them yet or not. But I'm supposed to be going back and purchasing some medals, but she couldn't tell me whether he was Air Corps, Marine Corps, Army, anything. So, again, this could be up to anything. Some of the helmets were used, Marine Corps and Army had the same kind of helmets, maybe a different shade, but maybe not so much in the early years. I've seen a combination of both. So I'm going to be doing some more research on this, but I just kind of wanted to show you some of the good items you could find on Marketplace on Facebook. There's been videos coming out by some people that I watch, and they're really professional with what they do. And they give you tips for sourcing, on all the sites that you can buy from Craigslist and OfferUp and things like that. And I check those. I haven't checked Craigslist in a long time, but I've had some very good luck on Facebook, and I don't have to worry about telling anybody about that, because the stuff in my local area, people either already know about it and don't care, or they don't want it. And that's always good for me. This was on Facebook. This was on Facebook for a month at $50. And, something else kind of funny too is when I was on the forums for collecting, it's just funny how people get really just passionate about what they're talking about. And don't you dare restore that helmet, and it deserves this and it deserves that. I'm the kind of historian and collector who develops a connection with an item that they get. Sounds kind of strange, but some people do this. Or it feels like I've owned it forever. When I see it, it's mine. I collect it to honor the people, the men who fought. I get something like this in my hands, I start thinking about his journey. And that's not easily bought from me, History needs to be preserved, and it needs to be preserved correctly, which I do. And I'm not upset at the people. It's just kind of funny how they just assume you're going to take the dent out and repaint it and put brand new replica straps on it. But I do have a source for buying the straps that I might buy World War II straps to spend some money and put the straps back on it. But, again, to me, that would be altering its history. This is the way I found it. This is the way that it itself was preserved, and it came all the way from wherever it came from, all the way up into the mountains in California. So, it's had a long, hard life. And probably the soldier that was wearing it, or Marine that was wearing it, did too. Looks at that dent. I can't tell you whether that dent was caused during the war or after. It's impossible to tell. It could have been misuse at home, and they had this hanging in a barn, on a nail where it's been for a long time. And again, the only thing I'm going to do with this is make sure that the rust doesn't spread, and get some Renaissance wax. It's a conservator's wax that museums use to preserve metal items, whether it's helmets or firearms or bayonets or other edge weapons. And what it'll do is it'll bring the paint out just a little bit. It won't take away any of the patina, but it'll make it look really good. And right now, as I have an oil base on it that I've wiped off, and you can see where the discoloration comes back, but that's okay, because like I said, it's the way it is. It's not going to get any worse now that I've had it in a controlled environment and out of the rain. So I might be showing some more helmets later on. I've got quite a few World War II and Vietnam era helmets, some from some other countries, and I have a lot of German helmets. And so we could just take it from there. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for watching. Can't say that enough. I appreciate everybody who does watch. A small channel for right now, and every like and view matters to me. I can still respond to people in my comments. I try to do that with everybody who comments. But like and subscribe and share. If you know someone else who's interested in military and just general antiques and history, that's what this page will cover. And we'll see you next video.